Um, so Jeff, we were talking about what happened for you. Maybe you want to share a little bit about what happened and how it played out after you started following the system.
Absolutely. Hey, everybody. Nice to see you guys tonight. So as Casey was sharing, I mean, I built my business. I have a background in fitness. I have a background of, leading with personality on what we did, and built a significant business, almost 5,000 people on the team. And I built a lot of that on personality. I built it on following some systems, as Casey was, suggesting, that weren't quite the right systems. And it got to a point where I was spending all my days, from the time I wake up in the morning to the time at night, fielding questions. How do I do this? How do I do that? And my business was plateauing and going down. And when I connected with Casey and he said, look, here's the way that we're going to do it, and we're going to follow this system, he asked me to make two commitments. Number one is, when I approach any of the activities, I'm going to do it with 100%, whether that's an hour a day, 5 hours a day, 10 hours a day, and that I'm going to follow it exactly as it's laid out. If here's the key that can open the door to your future, you just have to follow. Why try to figure it out and make it up? And prior to that, leading again with personality, I had a decent close rate. I had about a 30% close rate. I was doing, well, but my days were consumed again, fielding questions, helping people. And when I understood the system and put it into play, everything changed. Everything changed in that, as Casey was explaining, there's income producing activities and non-income producing activities. I was spending my days in the non-income producing activities. And all of a sudden, everything shifted. See, when people called and said, hey, Jeff, how do I make a list? So you know what? Listen to audio number 4. I think you'll find the information there. And if you don't, give me a call back. Hey, Jeff, how do I do a script? Listen to audio number 6. It's all there. If you have any questions, call me back. And they didn't. Now, that's one portion of it, which meant that I got my time back and my life back. We're in an industry where we're talking about freedom and time freedom, not if you're spending all day long, on the phone. So, but what that allowed me to do with that time is focus on the income producing activities. So just on a numbers basis, within the first month that I put this into play, I had done 88 presentations. That means that I had to connect, I had to make a list, I had to contact, I had to follow up, schedule presentations, and take people through. Over a 90-day period, I did over 200 presentations, and my close rate went from 30% to 91%. And that was following it exactly. So I saw there was something really magical here, that the whole way that I had thought to build a business, and as most people approach it coming into the industry, following what they know from their previous experience in life, it doesn't quite work here. It doesn't translate the same way. When I had the system, it changed everything. So even the people who were joining, I didn't have to spend time training them and coaching them and doing, all the noise of daily phone calls and that kind of thing. They were just entering into the system and they were following it on their own. I stayed in review. I stayed in relationship with them, ensuring that they're following, they know what they're doing, but all the information is there. So when you take the training out and you could focus on the real part of income producing activities, and then you start to see that duplication effect take place. So everything changed in that business. And as I was doing this, where my passion was growing is teaching others on how to utilize the system, showing others how merely to point to the system and do what they know how to do, but use the system. When you put your faith and confidence into something and truly do, everything changes. And we saw tremendous change in our business, and the entire way to look at networking changed. And that's why, I'm passionate about helping people and showing people and coaching them through this, because once they have that, you have that aha and that awareness, it's like life changes. You get your time back and you get to experience what the true industry is about, being able to set yourself on a pathway to achieve your dreams by utilizing the system, the company, the products, the compensation to truly get what you want.
Nice.
Wow. It's great. And so I want to share with you, and that's the reason I'm so grateful Jeff's on the call, is because it's not theory for us. It's not something that might work or might not work. It's something that we live. It's actually a part of how we actually build and train. And when the actual system was created, so the system is in place right now, and we have done no marketing and no advertising. I shared with you, Katie, that we've done nothing. It's really been just word of mouth, and we're working with a couple of leaders in a couple of networks, and then we have a string full of people from different network marketing companies that are just excited about learning it. Where we believe that we have an advantage, and this is what we wanted to bring to Simply Young, is that there is an underutilization of a technique called prosumerism that I really wanted to share with everybody, Katie, and we'll talk about it now. We can do questions and answers. But I believe that the future of America is free enterprise. I've always believed that. I believe that people being independent, being able to take care of themselves and produce at whatever level they choose to, that's really the secret of success. And being an entrepreneur in America today requires a lot of funds. And usually, if you want to start a franchise like a McDonald's, which of course you'd be successful, but you need $1.7 million, $2 million to start a location today. So we know that the networking effect of franchising works. Unfortunately, we understand that that most people don't have the finances to do it. So opportunities like networking actually make sense for the average person. So I want to begin with that. And one of the things that happened to us way back in 1988, 89, was we were struggling to explain to people the difference between what pyramid sales were and network marketing and MLM and all these other terms and terminologies. We were struggling really deeply to say, how do we get people to understand that we're not a pyramid selling, use up your friends type of, that's not what our intentions were. Our intentions were intelligence. And what we began to talk about was something called prosumerism. And so we completely converted over our entire organization. And while everyone else in the entire world of Amway crashed, we actually kept sailing. We started continuing to break records. And finally, someone says, what's the secret? I said, well, I don't talk about our business as network marketing. I don't talk about direct sales. I don't talk even about the products. I said, I begin with people in the right mindset, which is, let's talk about being a professional consumer. So I talk about prosumer versus consumer. And I said, listen, would you agree with me that your home has buying power? So people say, oh, well, yeah. I said, you're buying food, you're buying supplies, things for your home that you need. Is that true? And most people say, well, yes. I said, well, imagine if you could take the buying power of your house, and instead of buying product in after-tax dollars, you could buy them in pre-tax dollars, that you could set yourself up as a wholesale distributor, access products from a company, and actually buy them cheaper, and then get the right to sell them and or to network with other people and get paid to do so. So you would move from being from a consumer to a prosumer. So you'd go from being conned as a sumer, paying retail with after-tax dollars, to a professional consumer of products that gets all the tax deductions of a sole proprietorship operating your home as a free enterprise opportunity. Well, needless to say, when we started to lead with this as a conversation, everybody got it immediately. And all we had to say to them was, well, listen, we're going to show you product lines that basically are going to replace a certain part of your budget. Now, in the case of Simply Young, we're talking about superfoods. So we're talking about products that they would consume as a breakfast product, or as a lunch product, or as a dinner product. So, these are, or as a snack product. So spending a couple of $100, $300 a month on Simply Young products would be a snap. Everybody would do that quite comfortably because it's something they're already doing. They may not be buying the same quality or certainly the same focus, but quickly it made sense. It's like, well, if we taught people to lead with prosumerism, which was, let's begin with a business model in mind first. As a franchise, you're going to be getting yourself set up in prosumerism, and the supply company is Simply Young, and we've chosen this company because of all these features, all these benefits, all of these incredible ideas. And then people listen because they're like, oh, tell me about these products. And then we get an opportunity to educate people about the wellness industry and about the difference between a GMO and a non-GMO, and about the difference between a fruit and a superfood. And because one of the problems that we're going to face in getting Simply Young to grow is that for the most part, we're an education organization. We're not a sales organization. As you know, we have to educate people before they're sold, because they may not know what a Kumu Kumu is. Like they don't know what a wolfberry is. They don't know what those things are. So they're going, I don't know what this is. And they also don't know what the benefit is. They're like, no, I just go to GNC and I buy the box of stuff, or worse, they go to Walmart and whatever. So, so we know that there's like a challenge there, that we need to get their ears open so that they see it as a business. And then we get their heart open because they see the value of, oh my goodness, you're going to change the quality of the food in my family's life. This is amazing. So if you can understand the value of teaching people how to lead with a business opportunity and close with unbelievable value in what the superfoods are offering, what Simply Young is offering, let alone then close with a compensation plan for a binary distributorship that if they get two people or they get two people, they can get all their products for their family for free. Like that's amazing. And if we can see that as a much bigger vision, and then say to them, by the way, if you'd like to actually get maybe a couple $100, we'll show you how to sell. We have a great sales system. But if you'd like to make a couple $1,000, we have a training system that's a franchise system made by the #1 guy in Canada. He's the #1 producer. And then on top of that, you've got, obviously my history and my track record, and you guys know all the rest of that. So, what we've really got is a chance to come together and with intelligence show up as a business strategy with an unbelievable supplier and a community and a culture of people that are holding a high line of integrity, that we're not just trying to sell people something, but we're welcoming them into a learning environment and a training experience where they can genuinely learn how to be financially independent in a very reasonable period of time. And I'm talking, 6, 12, 18 months. The average person, if learning this system, can make themselves an extra $5,000, $10,000 a month because they've become a professional. See, what we're really sharing is that we're not tips and tricks. We're actually a system of continuity. And it's a full turnkey, no guesswork. Everything you need to know is inside the system. There's over 100 hours of just front up audios that I've produced in the last little while, but everything's in a very strategic format. Katie, I took you through it, and all you had to do is click next, and took you to the next audio, and you went down the system, and you're like, oh my goodness, like all we do is just keep pressing the next one, and it trains us as we go. And the last thing I want to say about that is that the system was built to be what they call a self-assessment. Many people come to the networking profession, and they have a big heart, they want to help a lot of people, and they really want to do well. But I believe that the #1 reason that networking is failing is because we're giving the most difficult task to the least qualified person. Let me say it again. We're giving the most difficult tasks to the least qualified people. Let me say what it means. You do not rise to the level of your expectations. You fall to the level of your training. Like, you may expect to be able to fly a plane really, really well. And you may have positive expectations. We could do some mantras. We could even do some affirmations. But if you don't take a test that you can manage your score and know exactly, do you know every button on that dash to fly that plane? I tell you what, I'm not getting in the plane with you. Because your expectations can be high, and your heart and your hopes and all those things can be great. But if you're not trained, if you cannot, as the great Peter Drucker said, if you cannot manage what you cannot measure, and nobody's measuring, that lady needs to mute herself. Nobody's measuring their success in network marketing, and that's one of the challenges. So the lady with the 7114 last numbers is just mute her because she's real loud. So, I don't think she realizes she's loud. There we are. She's washing dishes. If you're listening and washing dishes, it's you. So,
yeah. Sorry.
You may just have to. Yeah, there we go. Excellent. So what I wanted to do is I just wanted to begin with that and put everything in perspective, because there's a million, Katie, as you know, there's a million things I could share. I've been in for 27 years. I have a passion to build a legacy. My goal is to help, literally tens of thousands of families produce a significant enough part-time income that they really experience the benefits of free enterprise. And that's just my passion and what I like to do. So maybe I'll open up the floor to you, Katie, and have you throw some questions up or things you want to share. Jeff, is there anything else I should share?
The one thing that I would share is the system's designed to meet you where you're at. If the trainings are there, it's a matter of how much time you want to spend into it, how much you want to really dive into it, and you're going to go at your own pace. And you may have, people that, I've seen that may join into into the business, and they just jump right into it, and they surpass you even on the training. So it's really designed to be there when you're not there. It's designed to be there to give people the opportunity to build at the pace that they want to build, not at the pace that you may set for them.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Great. Katie, thoughts, questions?
Yeah, I think, you know, if I know like your system or whatever. I've gone over it with you and everything, but maybe you could maybe explain like a little bit like what the process would be for somebody coming into this and what you could expect from them.
Yeah, so maybe in the next few days or next week, when we do actually, we'll prepare, I'll take control of this training, and we can actually go through the website so we can actually take people through the training. My goal, again, is to just give people access to what I call a continuity system. That there's two ways to approach the networking profession. One is with personality and the hope that that you're gonna figure it out on your way through this journey, and that's fine. Many people do that. That's why there's like literally 100 million people who sign up and quit within the first year. The attrition rate in the network marketing industry is horrific. It's actually over 80% of people quit. And the reason why is because they're not properly trained. People don't rise to the level of their expectation. They fall to the level of their training. And my pride of being involved in the industry was I ran a 54% retention year over year for a better part of 20 years because people got in and they knew that because of their training, they could make the networking business work. Sometimes they didn't either want to do it or they didn't know how to work through that. But for the most part, that's actually what people experience. So without my ability to actually show people to walk them through the system, it'll be tough tonight because I can't do it with you what I did with you. So does anybody have any questions about what I was sharing?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah. Okay, so my question is like, you've been doing this for quite some time with Amway and then other companies, and I can understand we're talking about with the prosumerism, but Katie's products, they need education before the heart comes in. The heart has to come first in some ways because her products are so superior, but it's nutrition. It's not like skincare. It's not like deodorant. It's not like hair products. It's much more in depth when people are putting stuff in their bodies. And there's a larger educational component to it than just training. You guys can see my question?
Yes, I do. Yeah. And so my question to you is: do you prefer to have this as a commission sales business for you, or are you looking to have a business of retirement?
Commission sales.
I can't.
Commission sales thing. I'm just having problems with educating the people on the quality of the products, and that's the first thing is they want to know about the products first, the business second, and you're saying let's do the business first and then the products come second. So have you done a nutritional product network marketing company?
Yeah, I've done probably over 20 of them.
Okay.
Yeah, Jeff, how many people were in your downline again?
Close to 5,000.
5,000.
Yeah. How fast did you put them in?
Fairly quick.
You had 500 people in the first 7 weeks?
In the first 6 weeks, we had about 650 people join in.
What are you selling?
Nutritional products, superfoods.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah, I apologize, and I really appreciate your question. Let me tell you where my heart's coming from. I believe that the quality of the products will always stand with time. So what I need to do is get people to have an ear interested in what I call hope for them. So there's a couple of things that I do that when I'm actually introducing somebody, the first principle I have is brightness of future. People will listen to me if there's hope in it for them. If I start leading with a product, then it's all about me selling them something. Right? There's a commission sales mindset when I lead with a product. But when I would lead with an opportunity that's in benefit to them and their family, and I say, by the way, let me tell you about this amazing company and all of these superfood products, there's a double benefit. They're hope-filled that there's income that can be produced, and there's a reason to listen to the story of Simply Young. That's my model.
Well, it's obviously been successful. So when you're leading with, okay, you're going out and you bringing in 500 people in however, or 5,000 people in such an amount of time. Are you bringing in groups of people most of the time, or is it one-on-one, or how are you doing something like that? Obviously, you've perfected it.
Right. Jeff, you can answer that, obviously.
I mean, it's one-to-one, but the whole benefit of a system is that you're having you bring someone to a presentation and they get excited and they see that brightness of future and they see what they can achieve. Now they're in the system too. Now they're following the format, they're following the procedures in the system, but they're also introducing that to other people. So the whole key here is duplication. It's about having people follow a system that leads to the duplication. When I did this, leading with personality or leading with the product, you'd see people come in and go out and in and out and in and out, and you're always working as a struggle to be able to keep that thing going. But when you are approaching it where people see that there is that hope of that future, and you're a messenger providing that hope for them, it's very different. The products are there. What I would say to somebody is, we wouldn't be having this conversation if I didn't believe in the products. Let's take that aside for a moment and let's explore the opportunity and understand what it is that's motivating them. What is it their dream? What are they trying to achieve? If it's just to be able to get into some products and use some products, that's great. Then they can get that kind of information. But if they're looking at this because they see an opportunity to change their life, well, then they're going to understand it from the other side of what they can actually do, knowing that the products are part of it. That's just part and parcel with it. So it's a matter of what you're leading with. People, if you just stay focused on products, then the discussion turns into always comparing that product to the newest thing that may pop out in the market, the newest thing that they might see in the store, the newest thing that their friend may tell them about. But if they've come into this because they see an opportunity and the products are incorporated into it, it's very, very different. And then you're not in a position where you're always bringing people in and that bucket, has a hole on the bottom and it always has to be replenished. It doesn't work in that fashion. So when you're asking, Katie, is it groups of people that we're doing it, it's one-to-one. Obviously, some of those lead to bigger meetings, but it's still that one-to-one relationship. And it's people getting into relationship and following a system. It's a very different approach and a way of looking at it.
I see. That's really a shift from the way we've been approaching it. And I think that distinction can change the whole dynamics of the company. I mean, to be honest, calcium product, we know it's for the bones. You know what I'm saying? We look at our heartbeat, it's for the heart. It's that is, to me, is like it's a no-brainer kind of a thing. Our brain products are for the brain. And so we made it really easy for people to distinguish what the products are. I think this distinction of consumerism and to giving people an opportunity, to give them the opportunity is where we've been missing the boat.
Yeah. I just want to address one last thing in regards to why what we're doing works. And there are three. So those of you who don't know me, I'm certified in 7 forms of human behavior, and I've been certified master NLP, master timeline therapy, master. I've got degrees in all kinds of things. But I share that with you because what I really study is the psychology of the way someone's receiving the message of what we're trying to share. And there are 3 questions that run the unconscious mind of every person you will ever approach with Simply Young. And here's the first one. The first question every single person has before you open your mouth is, what's in it for me? The second question is, why should I care? And the third question is, what can I do about it right now? If you open every conversation answering those 3 things, which we teach in the contacting section, if you don't answer those 3 objections before you're finished speaking at the end of your first, second, or third sentence, you're done. People shut off. What's in it for me? Why should I care? Why are you talking to me again? People are short. Their attention spans are shorter. There's a difference in the mentality of leading with value to people. Hey, listen, Bob, I wanted to give you a quick call. I've come across a new superfoods company that's doing some amazing things. We're teaching people how to get set up as a prosumer business and home with tax advantages, discounts, bonuses, profit sharing, service to the door. I was thinking to come over and just share with you a little bit about what it's like. How's Tuesday for you? Like, you know, try that line and see what goes on. Like, those are the lines that get you into 80% of every house because they're like, what's in it for them? Why should they care? What can they do about it? I did all three in less than 2 sentences. These are the techniques that move people from being amateurs that make no money in the networking space to professionals who actually know how to have success because they're doing the right things.
So
Does that help, Katie?
of those questions, those answers, I mean, to those two questions, those 2 sentences that are going to capture me.
Yeah, you've got to light them up, and it's called brightness of future. There's 5 keys in building trust with people. The first key is brightness of future. The second key is frequency of interaction. The third key is keeping small agreements. The fourth key is rapport, and the fifth key is make it about them. If you run those 5 inside of every relationship, people will stay in relationship with and trust with you. That's exactly what will happen every single time. Right? Because we're not in the sales business, we're in the relationship business. And we're asking people to be in a relationship with us as an organization, as a team.
You know, something I'll just expand on what you just shared, Casey, is, you know, one of the extreme values of the system is we focus on the 2 M's, on mechanics and mindset. And mindset is so important to integrate into your business because this is a relationship business. You're in relationship with other individuals, and having the right mindset and knowing how to stay in relationship with people and keep them in the right mindset is really important. So you get the mechanics, the specific training, and the mindset training, just like what Casey just shared of these 5 characteristics of, you know, building rapport with people. These are such important tools because, again, you're in a relationship business. It's not just about the product. The product is there, and you're building relationship with people, showing them the brightness of future, and pointing them to the tools in order to get there.
Seems simple in a sense once you know it. I mean, I'm sure there's a learning curve with all of that. You know what I'm saying? Obviously. Can you hear me okay?
Say that again.
I'm sure there's a learning curve with all of this. You know, but I think the point that you're making is constantly going back to the tools, you know, to learn, and rather than spending time, you know, making sure people are trained to go back to their tools to learn what they need to learn. You know, now, are these tools interactive in a way, you know, like where they get to practice them?
Of course, yeah. I mean, it's a full-blown training system. It's auditory, visual, some of it, but they've got transcripts of everything, and they take a test and assessments. And it's a different system. But I think that it has to be clear. You know, as the other gentleman who asked me, he says, "I just want to do commission sales. I don't want to build a network." It's like, you know, you have to begin with clarity about what your intent is. What's the intent to bring in mind? So there's one side of it is the training should be either focused on helping people become better at doing sales through educating people about products, or they're interested in learning how to build network and leaders so that they can actually build a residual income. So that's there's 2 parts. And we are experts at building leaders. That's what we do best. We build leaders. That's all I know how to do is build leaders that know how to make a lot of money with the networking profession.
I hope we keep you. Did that get on your screen?
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I like that. We really want to build leaders here too, and we're really dedicated to that. Does anybody else have questions here?
Like, let's say that what would you say if you had somebody who, you know, had them on like the training program, right? You know, and but like, I guess this is my question. Like, you want to keep up with your people, right? Like, I mean, do you want to make sure that, you know, like every 2 weeks you kind of, or every week, 2 weeks, you check in with them. You're just like, how are you doing? Like, what if they're not watching the videos? What if they're not really, like, what would you, or I guess, this is probably all in there, but how often, like, just about checking in with your people and making sure that they're okay and all that, is that all through the relationship, like, aspect of it? Like, Is that confusing? I'm so sorry.
No, it's good. You're asking an amazing question. The first thing is, there are three things that we get paid for. The first thing we get paid for is to recruit, which is a very short period of our journey with them. The biggest thing we do with people is we get a chance to build in relationship with them, which is why people don't quit. And the third element is something called review, which is what you just asked. You're constantly checking with people in the first 30, 60, 90 days. How are you doing with your list? How are you doing with your contact? Can I help you with your presentation? Can I help you with follow-up? So you're doing recruit, relationship, review. And these are the activities that you get paid to do. This is why the business works. If you had to train, so let's take, for example, you took 2 weeks to train somebody. They were all excited in the first 30 days. You trained them for a month. You've put a month of your life into their life. And then at the end of the next 30 days, 60 days in, they have a crisis in their life, or they get rejected, or they all of a sudden, their mother says it's not going to work, and they quit. You've just lost 30 to 60 days of your life.
Right.
End of conversation. It's like, if you don't have a system, the likelihood of you succeeding in networking is very little. And if all you're trying to do is develop a customer base, then that's a completely different skill set. But if you want to build a network and a network of leaders that the business can continue to grow without you, you have to have a system that's built with duplication and retention in mind from the beginning. So, and that's what a system does best.
Right. So,
Yeah.
okay. So you just want to be freeze for that period of 30, 60, 90 days. But the system, I guess, that you have in place is teaching those leadership skills and is doing that duplication, so to speak. I guess.
Yeah.
I think what she's trying to say, if you don't mind me,
Please.
because I might be, is there a way of, when you're bringing people in, that you're checking up on them in a sense where seeing how they're doing, okay, I'd suggest you do these modules and that kind of a thing. Obviously, we're going to learn how to do that, and then we're going to go ahead and teach them, right? And stuff. And so then it's kind of like, did you do this or did you do that or whatever? Is that kind of how it goes?
That works.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we kind of get to know where they should be, what they should be doing at a certain time, especially if you're at least making it happen, and making sure that they're getting out and maybe, so you're going out there with people to help them learn how to connect with people too sometimes? No.
Sometimes I wouldn't recommend it, just because it gets very difficult, right? Because you're wasting time when they can go learn it themselves.
Okay, so I guess my question was just how to really support people from a stance that you would recommend, because obviously there are a lot of things that people do in this industry that are complete time wasters. So I guess I would just.
There you go. I focus, so I have a philosophy that says that people quit businesses all the time. If they quit piano lessons or they quit ballet, they're going to quit this business, but people don't quit relationships. So our top priority is to make sure that we are in relationship with every single person we can be in relationship as much as possible, right? So we want to build, but when we're in relationship with them, we have to do something that is of value to them. So we do something called a review. What's your name?
Ashley.
Ashley, I would be in, let's say, for example, I was working with you. I'd say, Ashley, how are you today? We talk about what we call form, family, occupation, recreation, message. We talk about what's important to you. I'd be in a relationship with you. I'd learn about who your kids are, your family is, or whatever your interests are. And I'd say to you, oh, by the way, how are you on the pattern for success? Have you written down your dreams? Have you made some time commitments? Have you got yourself set up with your segmented list? Have you decided who you're going to call first? Have you got a script that you're comfortable with? I'm going to constantly be reviewing you on the mechanics, but it's going to represent 20% of my time versus 100% of my time. Right? Because I'm going to say, oh, did you listen to the audio on the digitally segmented list? You're going to go, no, I haven't done it. So, well, Ashley, what I think is best for you is, why don't you go listen to that audio and text me when you finish listening to it and let me know if you have any questions. Now, how many people can I train?
Right.
How many people can I train? I can train 20, 30, 50, 100. All I have to do is just keep pointing to wherever they are. I'm in relationship and I'm reviewing where they are on the 8 steps. And when they run into a challenge, I can give them, more advice, but I can't give them any advice if I don't know where they are.
Right. That totally answers it.
Make sense? Yeah, excellent. I think, it seems to me that you probably will do well with a system like this, because the system is designed to take care of people. Let's face it, that's why we're doing this, right? I don't know about you, but I have never asked, I've been in the industry 27 years. I've never asked anyone to sign up with a company. I've asked them to sign up with me, right? Because at the end of the day, they're signing up with me. They may be getting a Simply Young distributorship, but at the end of the day, they're not going to talk to someone at the office. They're not going to talk to the secretary at the office. They're going to talk to me. So it has to be a relationship with me, and I have to have the confidence that I'm giving them the very best possible. And since I've already done my, I've already done my